All right, these last two episodes have been super fillerish to me. Can we get to the finale and get to the reunion already? Because it is the same old stuff. But I will say this. Y'all catch when Eddie completely called out Tamra, clocked all her tea?
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right. Welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. All right, The Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19. I'm reviewing episodes 16 and 17 together. Um, I feel like these last two episodes have been super fillerish. Not a lot has happened. We're rehashing the same stuff. Where is Katie? Where is Katie? What is going on? Is she still gonna be on the show? Like, what's happening? Um, just a lot of the same old stuff. So basically in episode 16, same stuff. We check in on, Emily and her son Luke. Shannon, same stuff, same old stuff, basically. The big takeaway from episode 16 is of course the stuff with Tamra and Gretchen. Gretchen and Slade end up rolling up on Tamra at the end of the episode. And I'm sorry, scratch that, keep that. But let me go back. So Tamara sits down with Katie in episode 16. My bad. That was the main event. And we basically we know what we always knew. Anybody watching the show knows that Gretchen said that stuff about Tamara. You definitely insinuated that she rugged you on Naked Wasted Night. And you've contradicted yourself several times. So I'm confused by your confusion at this point. I'm not a fan of Tamara, but I'm with her on this. Like, why do you keep saying this about me? You've said it, then you didn't say it. It's like it doesn't make sense. So of course Tamara sits down with Katie and she's like, what happened? And Katie has said stuck to the same story. It's funny. Katie has lied about a lot of stuff. My thing is they've all lied about a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna eat crow for a minute. I talked a lot of shit about Katie myself, but I'll say this: everybody on these shows lie. I think with Katie, it's the level of lie, maybe. I mean, the recording Shannon was crazy. Kitty, get down. Climbing up my screen, but I think the recording Shannon was, over the line. That was insane. But my thing is, how can you guys get mad at her, but you're cool with Tamra and Gretchen? Because Gretchen, you're Tamra too. You're turning into her, Tamra 2.0. What are you doing? What are you doing? My goodness, I'm all over the place. So anyway, her and Katie sit down and basically Tamara basically has her confirm what she was saying, that Slade kind of was involved with this and texting the other men and sticking to this lie. Katie, she puts 20 on 10. I believe her though. I don't know if it was as dramatic as she was making it out to be, but I definitely believe her. Um, so anyway, this all gets back to of course Gretchen. Emily's pissed at Emily was hot at that little hoedown country bar thing they were at. She was not happy that Tamara sat with Katie, but girl, it is what it is. Whatever. Come on. Um so Slade and Tamara, or Slade and Gretchen, Lord, see, they're starting ah becoming synonymous. Slade and Gretchen end up going over and confronting Tamra. And even the girls are saying to Gretchen, like, don't bring Slade with you. And she was like, well, she brought Slade into it. Well, you kind of did when you called him. This is my problem with you, Gretchen. You came back on the show and you brought up 12-year-old bullshit. It's 2025 and we're talking about shit that happened 12 years ago. You had a whole opportunity to do something different, show us something different, and you didn't. So it's really, you're frustrating to me, and you are like Tamara, and the fact that you don't see that is crazy, because we'll get to that in episode 17. Anyway, they go over there to confront Tamara, and I don't blame her. She leaves. She was like, I'm not doing this, and walks out with her husband. I don't blame her for leaving either. You're not gonna walk up on me. Bye. Bye. No. There's no resolve there. So to me, as a viewer, I don't want to keep going through this with you guys, especially if Tamara is back this next season. I'm not doing this again. We can't go through this again. So you know what? You guys don't like each other. You're very similar. You fight dirty. Move on. So that's how the episode ends. So anyway, episode 17. We end up with we never pick up from that drama, but it's definitely talked about throughout the episode. But we open with Shannon having this like bridal lunch thing for Jen, which was actually really pretty. She was upset because some of the stuff was ordered wrong and yada yada. So anyway, everyone in their own houses are getting ready for this like bridal lunch thing. So they get to Gretchen, who looks like a toddler in tiara. She looks crazy. Her and Slade, she reminds me of Tammy Faye Baker. And I didn't realize how much into the Christian like faith stuff she was. I don't remember her being like that before. Was she before? I'm an OC fan. I don't remember this. I don't remember this before. I'm not saying people can't change and evolve, but it's kind of weird because it almost comes off inauthentic, but that's just my perception. Do you? If it works for you, girl, do you. But her and Slade's relationship is they have an interesting union. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But anyway, so they're at her house. She's getting ready for this brunch, and the producers are basically calling shade, throwing out that she's a lot like Tamara. And she's like, "No, I'm not. I even wrote a list about it." And they're laughing. So the producer's like, "You really did write a list?" She's like, "Yeah." She pulls out her phone and actually, she literally wrote a list of why her and Tamara are different. Gretchen, I want you to understand something. Come close, come close. This is something that Tamara would do. Tamara would write a list about how different she is from Gretchen. Girl. And everything on the list is shit that Tamara would do. So what are you talking about? Get a storyline, honey. Cause this 12-year-old bullshit, don't nobody care about this shit. You clearly didn't care about it all these 12 years. But now that you're back on the show, if you're gonna beef with Tamara, beef on something recent and serious. But this 12-year bullshit, we're not, the audience is not here for this. You were supposed to come back and do you're in a different space now. You're a mom, and I'm not gonna give you too much. I've already given you enough. But we rehashing 12-year-old shit. I'm over it at this point. I'm over it. Anyway, so it was just funny to sit there and listen to her, and she really believes that she's different. That's crazy. Totally crazy. So anyway, everybody gets to this bridal luncheon, and it was really cute. They sit down. Shannon wants everybody to go around the table and give Jen, some marriage advice, bridal shower, advice. They all give her really good advice about marriage. It was interesting because this is her second marriage. She talked about how the luncheon was probably going to be the most fanciest thing regarding her and Ryan's wedding. Which is really interesting too, because I feel like Jen is really living her life the way she wants to now. It just seems like just the way she talks about her past life, her past marriage, her relationship with her parents in relationship to her first marriage, it just seems like she wasn't really getting to live for herself, to live for Jen. And now she is. She explained that she doesn't want all the ceremony in this wedding. She's cool getting married on a beach in a bikini. She's cool not making it formal. I get it. She wants everything opposed to what the first marriage and the first situation was. And I totally understand that. I like Jen. She could be a little dumb at times, but I don't think she's that stupid. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But this was a cute moment. They also at the table come up with, they're going to Amsterdam. Can we go someplace new? Because if y'all have noticed, I think every housewife franchise outside of Dallas and Dubai has gone to Amsterdam. Salt Lake City hasn't gone there yet, but I'm sure they will. I feel like everybody's gone. Beverly Hills went. New York went. I know New York went. Miami, maybe. I don't know. I just feel like we go to Amsterdam a lot. I do watch a lot of reality TV. I could be just crossing the universes. It it happens. Anyway, it's like a Marvel universe, all these damn housewives and reality TV show wives in general. But anyway, so cute scene. They're all going to Amsterdam. Okay, cool. So after that, we meet up with Heather and Terry, Interesting, cute, quick scene just about their house being delayed, and Heather's connection to Amsterdam. I guess her father lived there, or their family, not when they were older, but her father lived there for 15 years, and she had talked about maybe spreading his ashes in the canal in front of his home. So that's her connection to Amsterdam. She kind of talks about how she didn't have a great relationship with her dad. You know, her father was a workaholic. This is why I'm mentioning this scene, because Terry makes a joke like, "Oh, you married your father," and he was like, "Well, you said your dad isn't that emotional. You've seen me cry a couple times. If you guys remember, if you go back quite a few seasons in OC, there was a season where Heather and Terry were fighting over the fact that he was a workaholic and he was always at work and he was putting his work before the family. I don't know if you guys remember that. I definitely remember it because it bothered her. And what's interesting is in the next season, she basically has said that nothing had changed, but they had found a way to make it work. So that was interesting to hear her talk about her not having connection with her dad. She said her father would be gone to work by the time they got up, and he would be back home after they had had lunch and went to bed. So she had no connection with her father. Really interesting. We really do be, you attract girls attract their dads, And if you didn't know your dad, you attract the option of what you think should be a dad or what was in your life for the example of what is. Fascinating. So after that, Gina and Travis, they're I've said this in a couple of reviews. I can relate to the custody battle stuff in their situation. I don't have any kids. I've never been married, nothing with me, but my mom and my stepfather, and living through like a crazy, scary custody dispute with my stepfather and his ex-wife. So I can relate to them on that. It's interesting. I'm glad things are better, but that's horrible to have to go through. So sending y'all peace and love on that one, for real. Tamara and Eddie. Let's talk about this scene, huh? Let's talk about it. So Tamara and Eddie are out eating. Here's my thing. Eddie is a trip, but he knows it. Here's what I get. He seems like he's the only person in Tamara's life that can call her out where she actually receives what he's saying. He presents it in a way to her that she understands, in a language that computes to her. In this scene, of course, she's bitching to him about the other ladies, and everything is there because everything is everybody else's fault with Tamara. It's never her. And if it is her, it's, well, I was just stating the facts. I was just being real. That somehow, in her head absolves her. I was telling the truth. Okay, but you can still be a nasty, hateful individual about it. Like that doesn't give you an excuse to be a dickhead. Come on. So he kind of calls her out on her attitude. And then this is what did it for me. She says, "Do you think that he says to her, you say when you come at me when we're arguing, you do it mainly when you're drunk, baby." And she goes, "What are you insinuating, that I drink too much?" And he says, "For the sake of a relationship, you should not." I almost fell off this damn couch. I was like, "Eddie, I'm with you when you're right, Eddie. Eddie!" He proceeds to tell her, he said, "If you could tell me how you're feeling instead of waiting till you're drunk and angry, we could have a better communication with each other." He said that in so many words. Tamara's ass, though, and then because she can't handle the truth, she has to make a joke about it. He jokes with her, but she knows he's telling the truth. And let's keep it real. Tamara, no one's putting up with that bullshit. I'm surprised he does. I'm surprised he does. But again, I think that Tamara and Eddie are a good yin and yang. I think they work well together. I think she needs somebody that can check her when she's out of pocket. But for him to call her out about the drunk thing, because I think Tamara drinks too damn much too. If every time you get drunk or tipsy, you're cussing somebody out or doing too much or coming out of character, you might have a problem with the drink. You might want to slow it down. That was me. So my ass don't drink no more. Like, come on. Um, that was one of the realest moments between them that I've ever seen on this show. So That was great because she needed to hear it. You know, she's not going to hear it from anybody. And what's crazy is she contradicted herself in that scene too, because you're over here going to therapy and shit. And he even said to her, if you were just vulnerable and came to me, that's never going to happen. Then why are you in therapy? Why are you attempting to dive deep and figure out your feelings and your behavior if you yourself said you're not willing to be vulnerable? I don't believe you are because you've never changed. You're not ready. Something major would have to happen in Tamara's life for her to really switch up that attitude and really dig deep and figure out why she is the way the fuck that she is and why she reacts to shit the way that she does. Girl, you were almost 60 years. So we take our butts to Amsterdam. They get to Amsterdam, beautiful city. I gotta go. I definitely gotta go. I want to go to Anne Frank's house. That was a story that I really connected with in eighth grade. Because I was like, we're the same age. Anyway, this isn't about me, but I've always wanted to go to Anne Frank's house. That'd be my like number one spot. Stop, baby. Anyway, so they get there. So they go on this boat ride in one of the canals, and it's cute. And then the shit gets started. So let me tell you something. I love Emily, but Emily is a serious shit stirrer, bone collector. Emily wastes no time getting the shit started. All right. So Emily brings up to Shannon about Tamara. She says, do you think that Shannon was, or do you think that Child, I forgot her name. What's her name? Tamara. Emily says to Shannon, "Do you think that Tamara was being like rude and mean when she brought up your dad when you guys were talking?" And she's like, "Absolutely." So of course they flash back because Emily had talked about it with the other ladies, and Emily feels like Shannon overreacted. That she felt that Tamara was coming from a genuine place. That's it. Me personally, I didn't think she was coming from a genuine place. I thought she was trying to be messy and nasty in the moment and throw a dig. I took it the way Shannon took it. But I can see, I could definitely see us being wrong in that regard. Maybe Tamara was coming from a good place and it just was the bad timing. I don't know. There's a million possibilities. You know, quantum physics, it's all happening at once at the same time anyway, right? Um, but so Shannon says, no, I thought it was a dig, and of course Tamara can't handle that. And she's like, well, it wasn't, So they're kind of going back and forth a little bit, nothing too bad. But then Shannon's like, her whole thing is, you just kind of dispel, and what's her face is like, I didn't talk like that. And so Tamara, well, at least you don't apologize. At least I apologize. When it gets too hot, you got to figure out how to throw it back and deflect it on the other person. And so Shannon's like, well, when someone sits across from me and says the see you next Tuesday word 18 times in a row, what am I supposed to do? So Tamara, who of course couldn't handle that because she's never apologized for that. And if she has, it wasn't genuine because we know I've been watching you for a long time. Baby, you haven't had a sincere apology yet. Not one that stuck. Not one that stuck. And the irony that they call Ramona Singer the repeater. No. Um, so she goes, well, are you? Are you a cunt? Like, what? They don't get anywhere in that situation. Emily actually says, let's just put a pin in it because at this point, if I'm Shannon Bedore, I'm no longer engaging in past tense anything with Tamara Judge. We're gonna keep it pushing, we're moving it forward. You know what, girl, you got it. I'm a cunt 18 times, child. Next. I'm not giving her the energy anymore. It's at this point, people that are still arguing with her and expecting a different result, y'all are crazy. I would just, okay, girl, you got it. You got it. You got it, Tamara. You got it. Next. Like, stop. At this point, just stop. Um, Crazy. So the ladies, they split off into two separate activities. Emily, Tamara, and Jen go to this store where this woman makes dildo covers or something for penises. So they were decorating that. The other ladies were out at like, I think they were at a coffee shop eating. They were smoking. First of all, Heather Dubrow smoking a blunt gave me my best life. It really did. They didn't show her inhaling. I don't think you're allowed to show people inhaling. I don't know. I have to look, but I was so here for it. I was like, all right, Heather. And Shannon had eaten a pot brownie or something. It was funny because it took forever to kick in, but when it did, it was hilarious. But anyway, so they're talking about everything. Emily and Tamara and Jen talking about the trip, talking about they start getting a little messy, and Emily brings up the fact that Jen is still friends with Alexis. So the other ladies are talking about that too. And Tamara asked Jen, "Are you invited to her wedding?" And she goes, "Yeah, but she Shannon asked me not to go." So when they roll the footage, that's not what Shannon said. So Shannon is sitting there with Jen, and Shannon Jen says that she got an invitation to the wedding, and she says to Shannon, "Jen, you volunteered this information." She said, "Yeah, but I'm not going to go because I know what that would do to me and you." And Shannon said something like, "I appreciate that," or "Thank you." She didn't ask her not to go. You volunteered and said you weren't going. So I think it's interesting that she's spinning that, because I love you, Jen, but in the next episode you're going to be like, "I don't remember. I don't know if I said that. Did I say that? I don't remember saying that." You can't do that. You won't be able to do that, not this time. Um so of course, when she's sitting there with Tamara and Emily, it gives that Shannon doesn't want her to be friends with Alexis, and that's not it. And even in Shannon's confessional, she's like, I can't dictate who someone's friends with, but it dictates our friendship moving forward." And I agree. If you're cool with a chick who came after me, sued me, yeah, our relationship is going. Yes, we're not going to have the same type of friendship. I'm not going to feel as close to you, and I'm not going to. The information exchange will be different. Let's just put it like that. The information that you originally would have had access to before regarding to me would be different. Okay, the firewall would be more up. Just put it like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. At the end of the day, all you have is you. Maybe perhaps a barbaric way of thinking, but let's keep it real. In the end, all you have is yourself. That's why discernment is so great and something that needs to be practiced. But anyway, so there's that. They kind of leave off there. We get into just the Tamra judge of it all, um, and the Gretchen of it all. So the ladies are talking to Gretchen is with them. I forgot. Gretchen was like popped up a few times. So they start talking to Gretchen about Tamra, and Gretchen actually says, "Well, with Tamra, you have to fight fire with fire. You have to fight like her." And they're like, "No, no, because you're coming off like her." They're telling her that she's coming off like Tamra. You know what I mean? And Gretchen doesn't see it. We already know she doesn't see it. She wrote a whole list about how she doesn't see it. Um, the episode kind of ends there because there's obviously more to Amsterdam. And next week is not even the finale. They're dragging the shit out of this season. Something's supposed to get exposed next episode. We shall see. I feel like it's something that we've been already knew. This season is starting to fall off for me, and it's getting boring. And where is Katie? Where is Katie? Anyway, whatever day of the week you're watching this, I hope it's great for you, and I hope it gets even better tomorrow. Stay hydrated, be nice to each other, and I'm gonna go return these videotapes.